Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make sardine bread. Let me take you through the ingredients we'll be using. Here I have 1 cup of warm water, 1 tablespoon of yeast, 90 grams of butter, 1 egg, 90 grams of sugar, 1 tin of sardine, 1 teaspoon salt, 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, 4 cups of all-purpose flour, that's 500 grams. So let's start. In a bowl, I'm going to add in my 1 cup of warm water, and to the water I will add my milk and I'll mix it thoroughly. Now to the milk, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of sugar, and the sugar I'm using is also from the 90 grams. I'm not using a separate sugar here. It's still from the 90 grams of sugar that was stated earlier. So I will mix that thoroughly and then add the yeast. I'll stir, and then I'm going to proof this yeast for 8 minutes. I'm going to stir and proof it for 8 minutes. Now I'm going to cover it with a tin foil and proof it for 8 minutes. You can use your kitchen towel if that is what you have, but for me I'm going to use a tin foil to cover that. So I'm going to leave this for 8 minutes and I'll be back. Now after 8 minutes, let me show you what it looks like. As you can see, the yeast has I've activated the yeast and it has really proofed properly. So I'll set that aside. Now I like to mix in my dry ingredients before adding it to the yeast. So in the bowl of flour, I'm going to add the sugar, to the sugar I'm going to add salt, and then I'm going to mix it thoroughly to combine. Now that I've mixed it in, I'm going to set this aside and add my egg to the proofed yeast. I'll mix it in thoroughly and then add my flour. Now the only thing I won't be adding at this stage is the butter. I'll add the butter later, but for now I'm going to add the flour and mix it in. So for the next step, to mix the flour and every other thing inside the bowl, I'm going to bring in my stand mixer. I'll be using a stand mixer for this next step, but you can use your hand to mix. All you just need to do is to knead with your hand. It's going to require a lot of strength, but for me I'm going to use my stand mixer, and with the paddle attachment on, like you're seeing, I'll start mixing this dough. I'm going to mix it for approximately 20 to 30 minutes, but for each stage I will show you the progress. Now this is like 10 minutes into mixing. Now I'm going to add the butter. I'll add the butter and then continue to mix. Now I want to show you a bit of trick, or rather how I know that my dough is ready. My bread dough is ready for baking. For as much as you see the bread mix is looking smooth, I'm going to cut into it now. You can see there are still holes inside the bread mix. That's to tell you that it's not yet ready. You need to mix a little longer, because when it's ready, the bread dough should be completely smooth when you cut into it. So I'll continue to mix at this point. I'll mix for another say 25 to 30 minutes again. No, sorry, I'll mix for another 20 to 25 minutes again. So after 20 minutes, our dough is ready. Let me show you how you know your dough is ready. I'm going to cut into it. As you can see, it's very smooth inside. You can see how smooth the bread dough is. So at this point, it's ready. So what I like to, okay, here I have my baking pan. I've greased it with butter. So what I like to do at this point, I like to measure out my dough. I like everything to be equal. So for this stage, I'm going to, initially I scaled it at 120, as you see from the scale, but later I reduced it to 100. But you can, depending on how big your pan is, my pan is a 10-inch pan, so I'm going to cut it and scale and weigh it. It's going to be 100 grams, but what you're seeing now is going to be 120, but I later reduced it to 100 grams. So here I reduced it to 100 grams. I've scaled others and they are all 100 grams. So I'll set the scale aside. Now this is my baking pan. It's a 10-inch baking pan, and for this size of pan I need seven bread dough in it. I have 8, but what I'll put into the pan, it's 7. So now I'm going to use my fork to break my sardine. I'm going to break the sardine, just match it up. Okay, so I want to show you how I mold my bread. I'm just trying to tuck it in, smoothing the top, and create a hole under where I'm going to put the sardine. I'll create, just smoothing the top. As you can see, there is a hole underneath it. So inside that hole, I'm going to put in the sardine and start tucking it in. I'll tuck it in, picking all the edges and bringing them together, ensuring that the sardine is inside, it's secured inside. Now I'm going to roll it out to smoothen the bottom. Now if you want your bread to have the sardine on top, what I do is just to dip the dough into the sardine mix. Voila, it's ready. So let's try it again. I smoothen the top. Just keep pulling until the top is very smooth. Then you create a hole underneath. As you're smoothing the top, you're creating a hole underneath. It's where you put the sardine. Now that you've created the hole, you add the sardine. Don't add too much so your sardine is properly secured inside. It doesn't open up and it's easy for you to tuck in. So just keep pulling the edges together. Keep pulling it together until the bottom is sealed completely. Keep pulling it together. Now that it's sealed, you roll it with your hands just to smoothen the bottom. You dip it into the sardine bowl. And voila, it's ready. Easy peasy. It's ready. So let's go over it a third time. Smoothen the top. Smoothen the top. Create a hole. Add the sardine. And seal with your hands. Now use your hand to smoothen the bread dough. Smoothen it. You can decide to roll it on your work surface, but I prefer rolling it with my hands. I'll dip the ball into the bread dough into the sardine bowl. And it's ready. So I'll go off camera to do what I have left and come back. So now that we have our dough neatly arranged in the pan, I'll use the tin foil again to cover it and leave this bread dough to rise for 1 hour. I'll leave the bread dough to rise for 1 hour. So see you after 1 hour. So it's been 1 hour since we covered the dough to rise. Let me show you what it looks like inside. Ta-da! See how it has risen perfectly. See how it's so beautiful to watch. See how it has risen perfectly. So it's time to bake. At this point I can't really tell you at what degree you should set your oven. For me, I set mine to medium to low heat. I try to create a steam. in my oven. What I mean by steam is I put water in the oven in the last rack and try to create a steam so the top of the bread does not dry out during the baking process. So you can do that. Just create a steam in your oven and put the pan of water on the last rack of your oven and put your bread pan on top and start baking. Bake on a low heat if you are not familiar with your oven. But for me, I'll bake medium to low heat. So I'll bake for 20 to 25 minutes. So see you when the dough is ready. The bread dough is ready. Ta-da! Can you see how beautiful this bread is looking? Let's take a minute to just look how beautifully baked. It's perfect. So what I'm doing now, I'm just brushing the top with a bit of butter just to give it a shine so it looks very appealing to the eye, just to give it a shine. We'll just apply butter around it and then allow it cool down for a bit before I open it up to see what it looks like inside. This bread looks very beautiful. Okay, children of God, Onye could not wait to cut into this bread. So I had to transfer it to another bakeware. Ah, can you see? Can you see how beautiful? Ah, man. See how the bread, at this point, this thing was extremely hot. Extremely hot. Then I had to try it out, of course. I had to taste it. It's so soft. The bread is so soft. Trust me, your family is going to like this bread. They are going to like it. So now we've come to the end of the video. Please try this recipe. Try it. I promise you, you will enjoy it. Can you see how the bread bakes perfectly? It's perfect. Please try this recipe. Please try it. Thank you for watching my video today. Thank you for always clicking to watch. Please share my video, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and see you next time.